mic, but we're back. And so sorry about that. Little hiccup, but we are here again. And it's been a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Been out since early this morning, about 7 something. Pretty early. That's not even as early as I usually get up. But 7 something, we've cut a lot of videos today and promos, and we went live from the streets of Ringo, Georgia. But I hope you'll join back with me. But anyway, we're going to look at some news today, state news. I like to do that on these Saturdays and kind of look at some of the things going on around the South. And got so many phones going off here. Just let me know I'm online, which is a good thing. It's good to know that notifications are going out. But I hope you're having a great weekend. Like I said, it started off kind of cool, but it is absolutely beautiful. Blue sky, not much really any wind, and it is just fantastic. That kind of morning you could get up and do a project and not break too much of a sweat. And I was mentioning I'm drinking this new coffee from our blends, and this is the Ethiopian Natural, and I just got the 12 ounce, and you can get that shipped to your door for less than $20, and it is fantastic. Got our logo on there, and this is considered a light roast, and it is really good. You can see there, maybe you can see their Ethiopian blend if it'll clear up, and you'll see that. Might not have cleared too much, but I've already emptied mine into another container to seal it, and it is great coffee. I can say that I've not had a bad blend yet, and we're trying to get through all the blends and check them all out, but this is our coffee, and you can get that at that QR code. Get your SFP coffees. Those that have did it have all gave us compliments on the coffee, and so if you want to get single-use cups, many of the blends have it, not all. There is one decaf option, and there's 8 different teas that you can get that will, if you're into the teas. Also, don't forget we're brought to you by the Hodge Twins. You can set it up in the corner there. Use that QR code. This is just but 2 of the things that we have here at the Southern Fried, and we appreciate your support of everything Southern Fried and Cornbread Nation. Give us a follow. You'll be a breadhead, honorary breadhead. I got to get my hats redone. It says breadhead here, but the color hat and the blue, and it didn't kind of show up. It looked great on the logo, not so much on the hat, but the rest of it I'm happy with, and people do recognize the SFP brand, and we've worked real hard to get that out and about, and we're continuing to do that. We're also brought to you by the Ascending Group, and I was trying to get one of the videos up we just cut. It's a fantastic video, and I'm still going to work on that. I was trying to send that different ways from my phone to my computer, and we cut a couple today we were really proud of. And anyway, give the folks at the Ascending Group a holler, and they can help you. You can reach the Ascending Group at the email will be Paul LeBron, PaulLebron .ascending at gmail.com. Paul LeBron .ascending at gmail.com. And you can talk with Paul at the Ascending Group. They could help you out with life insurance needs, retirements, protecting that money. There's so many ways to do that. They work with over 190 companies, and many of those are Fortune 500 companies, or most of them. And we've been out doing promos for the Ascending Group as well as for the podcast. And really all of it, it all ends up on the podcast, but some of it is promos for the Ascending Group. Well, I want to tell you, it's getting closer. It is election time, and here in Georgia, November 4th will be election day. Most people, and by the way, this morning on the program, we met one of the gentlemen who has ran twice locally. I'm hoping that he'll come on our podcast. He said he'd be in touch. Hopefully he will. He said he was going to be on there's another podcast in the area that does quite a bit of interviews as well. And we're happy of it. There's never too many. And we encourage all. We're like Rumble, other podcasters. We appreciate. And by the way, if you don't have the Lion King, if you're on Rumble, if you're not on Rumble, get on Rumble. If you don't have the Lion King programmed into your follows and favorites, you need to. That was what a fun page. Old MTV style, even taking requests, music videos. I heard everything from Johnny Cash to, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think, John Denver and Leonard Skinner and just all kinds of groups. It was a lot of fun to listen to the show last night as I was setting up our front porch show. Lion King. Give him a follow, and you'll see his site there linked, and that's a fun page. But we're out making videos and promoting small business and historic places. We've been hitting a lot of the old history of the area that we live in, and there's enough here to last us for a long, long time, and it's fun. We enjoy doing that. But it was kind of cool out there, but not bad. No wind, beautiful blue sky, the sun is shining bright, and the SUN as well as the SON, and we hope that both are shining in your life today very brightly, especially the SON. Again, if you've not been on the program before, I'm Dave, aka the Cornbread Man. This is Southern Talk, but it's just the name of a show because we're Southern and we talk. But we'll cover news from anywhere about anything around the globe. I did want to look into the state of Alabama this morning, look at a couple of articles that happened. The redistricting maps. There was a lawsuit, and there's always lawsuits over carving out these districts and things. And this one says that a federal court has released new redistricting maps for the Alabama State Senate. With the headline, "A practical effect likely means an additional Democratic district in 2026." And this centers around the areas of Coosa, Chilton, Elmore, Montgomery, and maybe one other one in the state as they carve out some areas. This was a court-ordered special master release, and there's 3 different new district maps that U.S. District Judge Anna Manasco can consider. So there is options here for what they might want to do with these maps. The it's The ruling was agreed with the left-wing plaintiffs suing the state that state Senate districts 25 and 26 held by state senators Will Barefoot, Republican Pike Road, and Kirk Hatcher, Democrat Montgomery, violated Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Manasco ordered a special master recently to redraw Alabama State Senate map by Friday ahead of qualifying in January for the 2026 election, because you got to get that done. If you got to know who can stay and who has to go, or sometimes you lose your district, and sometimes you gain some. But it says each of the 3 remedial plans proposed by the special master remedies the Section 2 violation that the court identified, although there is significant difference between the 3. Regarding the effectiveness of the remedy, each proposed plan, by the way, I'm reading from 1819 News, a good conservative news site in the state of Alabama. I advise you to read their stuff. It's balanced and fair, and they're good people. Each proposed plan also complies with the U.S. Constitution, the Voting Rights Act, the one person, one vote principle, and traditional redistricting principles. Richard Allen, the court special master, said in a filing on Friday, "It's possible a higher court could still stay Manasco's ruling, similar to what happened with the Jefferson County Commission redistricting lawsuit. If not, Manasco would choose one of the 3 remedial maps to be used in the upcoming election." And so there is some differences among the maps, and you can go there and see it. I think I can probably show these different ones here. One second. Let's see if I can show you this. This is one of the, give it just a second. I got to get the, here we go. Okay, there is one of the proposals that they have. You can see that one. And you can see the 2021 Alabama Senate plan, the districts. And this is Remedial Plan 1. You can see those counties there and the different area that's been highlighted here for consideration. Now, let me pull that down just for a second, and we'll pull up plan number 2. Let me get over here to where those were. And here is plan number 2. Hang on. It does look slightly different. I will try to do a comparison here in just a second. This is plan number 2. Slightly different. You can see it's drawn a little bit different, especially down in the Crenshaw area. And then number 3 is even very different, radically different. And you will see that here. You can see, well, that's not the right one. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. That is not what I told that to do. Hang on. Sometimes they don't do what you want them to do. All right, start screen share. This one is very different. You'll see that. All right, hang on. Whoops. There we go. Look how different that one is. Elmore, Montgomery, Crenshaw, very different. Now I'll show you, and I'm going to make sure that I pulled up number 2 properly because I'm not sure that I did. I may have accidentally showed you 3 again. That was 2, or that was, and here was, let me see if I can find the difference here. Dun, dun, dun. Let me pull up number 1 again. Make sure I had that right. That one was that one, and this one. 1 and 2 were not much different, I don't think. They were pretty good. The third one was very, very different. Very, very different. Yeah, the other 2 are only slight. It's almost really hard to even see the difference. What I'm going to show you now is the current plan. This is Exhibit 4. So it's not a lot different, but you do see some extra lines drawn in there. So let's pull this one up into presentation mode. And this is the current one that you will see. And you can see there's a little bit of difference here from it. So a lot of it around Montgomery, obviously, I think was a big part of this. Yeah, it's a little bit different around the Montgomery area, and that's the key for this. And then also the out west of there is the biggest differences. 1 and 2 are not much different. 3 are radically different from the other 2. And then the current one that you see here is more like 1 and 2. 3 is very different. So they will have an opportunity there depending on what they want to do with that. So this is what's going on in Alabama during these districts. But it'd be up to the court to decide what they want to do with that. So and it could go to a higher court. And that's always that fight, right? Everybody's trying to create as many areas as they can to swing votes and get more people in in their party. So that is always one of those things that they battle over. So I understand that. I mean, if you understand it, you understand it. It's nothing, and nobody's going to be completely happy. I mean, let's face it, somebody's going to be mad, and it'll be either party, and somebody may lose their seat. It happens in every state, and it's happened in Alabama recently. There was a big redraw, and this is kind of working off of that to see. Now, there was a sheriff in Alabama, Mobile County. He had to, for Halloween, he wanted to have some fun and a sense of humor. His Halloween decor at his home, he replaced it. And I will pull this up and show you. Let me see if I will make sure I've got the picture. I don't see the original picture. Let's see. Oh, yeah. But that's not the second picture. There's actually a more radical picture. I'll see if I can find that on the other side because they're not showing the original picture. Here it is. I may have to put this up twice. Let's see here. So the story goes that this sheriff down in Mobile County, he made this. I'll show you the first one first, and then that would make sense. The first one first. Double negative there. So he had this, and my picture's kind of in front of, but the tombstone, rest in peace, sense of humor, beginning of time, it says. And then it says, make Halloween great again. Well, they didn't like that, but here's one of the big reasons that they didn't like that was, let me pull this one down. It's because of this scene right here that he put up. And this is really what made them mad. Was you have right here three ICE agents after someone in traditional Hispanic garb right here. That's what really got them mad. They didn't like that sign, but this is what really made them mad right here. So a lot of complaints came their way, and he changed it. So this is according to WKRG in Mobile County. It's the sheriff's name is Paul Birch. His house had decorations, new decorations, after receiving backlash for a previous display that critics described as disgusting and dehumanizing. According to WKRG, the new setup features pumpkins that read "Make Halloween Great Again" and tombstones that says "Rest in Peace, Sense of Humor." So that's what he put up afterwards. So they did not like that other one at all. What his neighbor said, Whitney Newman, initially posted about the ICE decorations, saying they were not funny and unbecoming of a law enforcement official. In a statement, Birch's wife Michelle took responsibility for the ICE decorations, saying, "My husband had nothing to do with these, and that they were just tongue in cheek. I made this one playing both on my Cuban background and knew needed changes in federal immigration enforcement," Michelle said. Despite Michelle taking responsibility, Hispanic activists called the decorations problematic and linked Sheriff Birch directly to them. "To be honest with you, I understand the wife is taking credit on this. It's the sheriff's home," said Grace Resendez McCaffrey, owner of Latino Media Gulf Coast in Pensacola. If this is the way he allows his home to be run, I question if this is how he allows his department to be run. Attempts to contact Michelle's attorney for comment regarding the new decorations were not immediately successful. So, making some news down there at the old sheriff. And, uh, at Halloween every year, there's always somebody complaining. A lot of times, it's not that they're upset with their decorations. They actually think they fall for the gag that somebody's falling off a roof. They'll have the image of somebody's feet hanging there, and people that didn't really pay attention, or somebody's hanging out the back of a car, and they'll get these phone calls, 911, that there's somebody in trouble and they need to send the fire department, police, ambulance, and all that. And it's just Halloween decorations. Some of these can get really in depth as well when we think about, just the kind of decorations, because you got people that are dressing up and they're doing things. And as you get closer, we're less than a week away. The haunted houses are going, and there's going to be people dressed up. So you got to be careful with that. And also a news article out of 1819 News. Katie Britt on this NBA gambling fiasco scandal. She said we've got to get to the bottom of it. This has been very damaging for the NBA. I cannot think of anything that has damaged their brand as much as this one here has. Even though a lot of people gamble, this has mafia. It has, cheating, breaking the law. It involves coaches, players. Really, basically, telling when somebody wasn't going to play to get your bets in, to scanning the cards and having the ability to, but being front people and encouraging people. How would you feel about that? Your fellow NBA player or coach or whatever encouraged you to go to a place that they say they knew this was going on, and you're losing a lot of money because it is not by chance or skill or anything. It's just full on cheating. Knowing when the better hand is held by them, and then knowing when you've got them and laying the money down. And millions of dollars has been lost illegally. And so I cannot remember a time. Now, obviously, the Pete Rose scandal was huge. It cost Pete Rose a career and entrance into the Hall of Fame, and of course he has passed now. But it was an ugly time, and because he was laying bets on his own team. I don't know how far this goes, but it's bad enough, the fact that you've got coach and player being arrested in the middle of the season. I mean, right during after playing games, before games, going to jail. And let me just say also, Stephen A. Smith's attempt to kind of lay this at the foot of the president, really, sir? Yes, the president is involved with casinos and stuff, and but really, you're going to lay this at his feet? Um, that's a stretch right now, and that's not the kind of thing we need. And he was saying this is going to happen more and more. Listen, a lot of people gamble. I don't. I don't gamble. That's not for me. I don't do it. Have I ever played a parlay card at work? I did years and years ago, but I don't. I don't play the lottery here in the state, and I don't gamble. And I don't care for it. I just don't want to do that. Don't be a part of it. It's not putting down anybody who does. Gambling has been around since the beginning of time. People like to find a they humans are driven to gamble and to bet. Many of them, and most people lose because that's the way gambling goes. But this was illegal activity where they were. And listen, I don't know how much of it's illegal, but let's just say the house never loses. Uh, they may lose some, but that's just to keep the money rolling in. They don't lose. They're never going to lose more than they win. Never. However, you could say they do that, and I'm not even naming a place. Um, People are infatuated with gambling, and whether it's a lottery or whether it's playing on one of the gambling sports sites, which has become a big thing. That's why Stephen A. Really, you're going to lay this at the president's feet, dude. This has been going on a long time before President Trump came on the scene, and there's a lot of people that are involved. And athletes love to gamble. They absolutely love to gamble. They know they can't do that in their roles. But to say they never laid down bets, come on, we know what happens. There's all kind of ways they could do that, and they're running the danger of being caught because you're playing the games, and not even that they're betting on their own team, which is highly wrong and illegal. But even if they were betting on other games, you just don't. They don't want you doing that. But Brent said during an interview on Salem Radio's The Scott Jennings Show on Thursday that we've got to get to the bottom of people trying to change the outcomes of games unethically. And Alabama's been pushing to become more and more a gambling state. There's people in Georgia, which is my state, that are pushing for everything. I mean, racetracks, and we have the lottery, but they're wanting the off the coast casinos and all that stuff like Alabama has. And every state eventually will do this stuff. I don't know that you can stop it, and even in very conservative areas, it's become a thing. And now with you can't do it in Georgia, but with like the FanDuels and sites like that, you can in Tennessee. So I'm very near the state line of Alabama and Tennessee, and people in Georgia will go over into Tennessee and play these things and lay their bets down. But they live in Georgia. But you can't. The apps detect where you are, and it won't even let you do that from Georgia because it's against the law. But people gamble. People gamble. I mean, look at every sports site. They always give you the betting line. Uh, Betting is huge. It drives a lot of business, and it's big business in America. I may not like it, but there's a lot of people that do it, and it is. Some people can't handle it, meaning they lose everything. They have an addiction to gambling. Remember, like Art Schlichter, remember him? But many other athletes like that who lost a lot of money, a lot of money gambling. And some people are just nominal bettors. They bet small scale, but you got your people that have money and they for pockets, and $5 or $10 for us is they're laying down bets of thousands and thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands on things, and there are some that get addicted. They run in danger of losing everything they have, and occasionally somebody will hit big. Occasionally do, but most people lose. It says the FBI made multiple arrests related to the alleged illicit NBA sports gambling ring. And Brent said, quote, "As you know, I'm from the great state of Alabama." And it is a great state, where we take SEC football very seriously. Obviously, being the wife of a former professional athlete, my husband having played for the New England Patriots, I know how much grit and grind goes into these games. And so if you have people that are swinging these, that are doing things unethically, absolutely 100%, we've got to get to the bottom of it, Britt said. Continuing, she said, we've got to be honest about what's happening in our next generation. We talk a lot about social media now into gaming and gambling, and particularly sports betting being thrust on the next generation, the addiction that comes with that and the cross section that's at play. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think the issue that we have here in the country is much larger than this, Britt said. And I would agree with that. It is way bigger than this one. It is everywhere. I mean, the games of chance have been around for millennia. I mean, but it is something that is very much always, I mean, been a part, and it's just growing. And now you have the politicians who are getting behind. They want the tax off of this stuff. You know, they want it legalized so they can get all the tax. You know, and they can tax the dog tracks, the horse tracks, the lottery, the sports betting and gaming and all that stuff. In fact, there's as part of the lottery, the store up from where I live, they just put up some poles in front of the building. I noticed that when I went up there. My son come in last night. He said, "Did you see the poles that were in front of the store?" I said, "Yeah." So I guess they did that to keep people from driving through the store. Well, they did, but it's because they're adding in a new machine that you can sit there and play, and they don't want people driving into the store trying to steal the machine. I guess it's an instantaneous payoff. That's the changing world that we're in. Now they've gotten this in through the lottery. So it's through the Georgia lottery. And I don't know if it's like a I don't know if it's like this or what it is, but that's how they've done that. And that will be very addictive for people around here. And unfortunately the people that play it the most will probably be the ones that can afford to play it. Uh, but they're so worried about that, they're putting up concrete posts all around the front of it that won't allow a car to come through. I mean, you'd have to knock down all that. And by the time you've done that, you've messed your car up. But that's happening just up the street from where I'm at right now. So it is a big deal, and it's getting bigger all the time. Now I know when you go out west, I've been out to Oklahoma. All the stores have the casino side, or not all, but most of them, the bigger ones, the big places that you pull off and get gas and buy snacks, and maybe a restaurant there, a fast food or two, but they also have the casino. It's been going on a long time, but a lot of that was because of the Indian nations getting the gambling rights. Of course, around here we have the casino in Cherokee, North Carolina, which is not far from me, a couple hours, 2.5 hours. And a lot of people here either drive up and go to the casino, or they'll do the bus trips, and they advertise for it, going to the casino. I remember my mother-in-law even went there a couple of times. She wanted to play. She was a real high roller, $20 an out. That's about what she can afford. But a lot of people here go there, and that was obviously the Cherokee Nation who got the right to have that one. And it's become a big thing, and that's how really, if you think about it, how gambling really got kind of a foothold in the South, which was an area that didn't really allow that, being the Bible Belt, and a lot of people against gambling of any kind, games of chance. It was through the Indian, getting the right to do that for what they lost and helping the nations. And those have become big, big business, obviously, in the areas that they are. Tunica, Biloxi. You think of all these different places that you can go. The party barge. They can go out on the water and get so far out and gamble. I mean that's been a big part of that. And of course, there's you got Vegas and obviously place Atlantic City, where it's very heavy in that. So it's a changing dynamic in the South, and it is it's changing things. It really, really is. It's changed a lot in my town. You can see that. I just want to reference an opinion piece here just for a second. Also in 1819 News, I want to give them full credit. I'm actually a subscriber. I give a little bit every month for 1819 to help them out. They have great podcasts. I really like their work. And again, you get some news there in a slant that's conservative Christian, and I like that. But there's an opinion piece that says, this is from Jennifer Oliver O'Connell. The headline: Alabama has yet to wake up from Biden's border nightmare. This posted today, actually. And it says a little over a year ago, I wrote about the dangers of illegal alien influx occurring in our beautiful state. That influx is upending communities like Albertville, Athens, uh, let's see, Silicuga, Calga. I probably said that wrong. Forgive me, Alabama friends, if I did say that wrong. Precipitating citizen outrage from Bigby to the Tennessee. While we were greatly spared from even deeper incursions through the election of President Donald Trump and his clawback of former President Joe Biden's disastrous border policies, our state still must deal with the fallout from this incursion, especially the eradication of the criminal elements. Now, 1819 News has uncovered even more horrible crimes enacted by the illegal aliens still in our midst. September and October alone have yielded multiple exposures and arrests, including in Baldwin County, a child returned from Mexico to Alabama after being kidnapped by her mother, allegedly as payment to a cartel for her illegal alien boyfriend's debts. Number two, an illegal alien arrested in Summerdale on child sex charges. Number three, illegal aliens arrested at a Decatur hotel for their connections to a major drug syndicate. And number four, suspected illegal aliens arrested by immigration authorities while on their way to Franklin County poultry plant. Just as the crime in Montgomery reverberates throughout the state, so does the fallout from criminal illegal aliens, affecting all Alabamians, regardless of where they live. Yet we are rarely clued into the outcome of these cases or their lingering effects. When it comes to the non-criminal aliens like Alariza Durati, who had his visa revoked, and Giovanna Hernandez Martinez, a so-called dreamer who was pulled over for driving recklessly and discovered to have been in the country illegally for years, we know that taxpayer dollars were saved because they chose to repatriate to their countries of origins. These examples were newsy because they involved young people supposedly contributing to America and trying to build a better life, so legacy and local news organizations kept us abreast of the resolution of their cases. But criminal illegals are simply lumped together, then disregarded, particularly by mainstream press. This is true. They love to highlight the student, and they get the pictures of them, the video of them crying, and they were here, and what am I going to do? And that's sales, that's news, but they don't like to cover these other ones where damage has occurred. There are no articles calculating the harm caused, the lives lost, or the capital that was and sometimes still is required. Some non-soundbite plans on how our elected leaders plan to eradicate this scourge and its aftermath from our state borders would be a bonus. Do we know how much revenue continues to fund imprisonment, housing, feeding, and legal services for apprehended illegals? Will they have costly trials, or will they be removed from our country? If the former, will they be deported, or will they continue to be a drain on our resources? After all, send them back. We don't have to feed them. We send them back to their country. Case in point, in 2022, illegal alien Jose Paulino Pascual Reyes brutally murdered his girlfriend and her son, dismembered their bodies, then drugged and restrained the girlfriend's 12-year-old daughter. If the little girl had not managed to chew through her restraints and escape, this sick individual might still be in the shadows, getting away with his heinous crimes. But over 3 years after his apprehension, there is a possibility he will finally stand trial. The courts are so backed up with the cases. It is truly sickening, she goes on to say, that Pascual Reyes has been allowed to get 3 hots and a cot for this long. As 1819 News reporter Craig Monger explained, much of the holdup from the defense counsel's legal wranglings, all paid for by the taxpayer dime. Since the murder, progress on the case has been more or less stagnant. Through a series of continuances, applications for foreign language interpreters, mental health evaluations, and the defense's attempts to block things like DNA sample collections, there is yet to be any significant movement in the case. Pascual Reyes is considered indigent, meaning his counsel, interpreters, and every other service are provided for by the taxpayer, me and you. According to court records, the last motion filed in the case was in March, ordering a status hearing to be postponed until an indefinite date. Pascual Reyes may finally be brought to justice, but the cost to Alabamians go beyond the horrors of lives lost and communities terrorized. Now multiply Pascual Reyes by the hundreds of thousands more that are being targeted, arrested, or currently detained. This shows that we have yet to wake up from Biden's border nightmare, and we may be tossing, turning, and paying for the aftermath for decades. Yes, that ongoing lagging cost to us. We it and this is if, folks, this is if the tables ain't turned at the next presidential election, because they'll unroll this carpet as fast as they can, and they'll roll out the red carpet again for the same activities given the opportunity, and then we go right back even into it. It's going to take years, maybe even decades, to really straighten out, but can we even get there? And so that's a very good, short, to the point opinion piece that I agree with. And there has been a lot of damage. There's I remember on our pet show we covered, some of these folks are jumping out so fast they leave the animals tied up in the places where they live, because they get news that maybe they're looking for them, so they just jump to other communities and try to find work elsewhere. I'm sure being paid for under assumed names, identities, or just paid for in cash. But they're leaving the animals behind. In many cases, people are noticing their animals tied up, and they rescue them and get them to rescues or someone who will adopt them and care for them. And sometimes the animals are near death, or in some cases dead, because they just get abandoned. And that's another whole cost that plays into that. A little bit of news from Alabama, and I like to go there from time to time. Those are good sites to look at. Um, and this is sports related. You remember the controversial calls in the University of Georgia and Auburn, Alabama game? The referee in that, you may have heard of this, but the referee in that game has been suspended. That's veteran referee Ken Williamson for the rest of the season. This is unusual. You don't usually hear about this. You hear of small reprimands. This was so bad. This was Georgia's 20-10 win, and I think Georgia would still win the game, but there was some controversy, especially the touchdown that wasn't. I could see that either way. Many people believe it was a touchdown, but his cruise performance was so bad that he has now been suspended for the rest of the season. They say there were several controversial calls, including the disputed fumble at the goal line late in the first half that shifted the game's momentum. The SEC declined to comment on personal matters, but CBS Sports' John Talty reported that Williamson did not officiate last week and will not work at another league game this season. And so they go through some of the calls that they had. But this was, this was a case where they saw that this was a problem, and, have officially done something about it, which too late for the game. And Alabama fans or Auburn fans, excuse me, Auburn, Alabama fans, not 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 University of Alabama. I'm sure they enjoyed the fact that they lost. So, um, you know, it is what it is. Um, there's a tragic story out of Georgia posting today early this morning. Again, going back to Alabama, Jefferson County, Alabama, a beloved high school cheerleader was among four people shot at a bonfire near Birmingham, Alabama. Kimber Mills, 18, died of her injuries. Three others were wounded. Officials say they were at a large gathering at a wooded location known locally as, quote unquote, the pit when shots rang out. Prayers and condolences to these folks. And hopefully the ones that are injured will make a full recovery. Stephen Tyler Whitehead, 27, has been arrested, initially charged with three counts of attempted murder. His charges were later upgraded to murder. Mills's family has started a GoFundMe, which has already raised more than $36,000. Blount County Schools, it's hard to look at these images when you see something like this, such a young, beautiful person. But Rodney Green, the superintendent of schools in Blount County, in a shared statement, said that Kimber's smile and infectious personality will certainly be missed, but she will always be remembered. and that's extremely sad. You worry about your young people when they go out. And hey, I remember when a bunch of us gathered at a bunch of we were working at local restaurants. There were people still in high school or some that were out, and we would met not the bonfire, but it would be carloads of folks, and we found a place off the beaten path, and people go out there and hang out. No gunfire or anything like that. It's totally different from the time that I was a kid. I got to be honest with you. I don't never remember when I was a young person ever anybody pulling a gun on anything. And this is the time when the guns were in the rack, behind the on the behind the seat on the pickup trucks. Nobody ever did that. They handled things with fisticuffs or whatever if there was ever a problem. I don't remember it even being that. I've had an argument here and there. Um, and just go out to have some fun. And somebody probably I'm sure got mad, probably was feeling no pain. And for this guy's family, I mean, he was a obviously lives are over, lives are changed forever, and lives are destroyed, and that's extremely tragic, and I hate that. I really really hate that for that family and for our country. I mean, it's just extremely sad that uh, we would see end of life like that. I mean, um, and then you've been hearing about this across the nation, I'm sure, but in Georgia, SNAP benefits are not going to be available in November due to the government shutdown. This thing has turned into a lot longer and bigger stalemate than I ever thought that it would be. I really thought, probably like the Republicans thought, a couple of weeks, they'll pressure. They're willing to hold out no matter how much it hurts. But somebody's going to have to break here eventually. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people hurting. It's already caused a lot of problems. I know people that are not being paid right now for the job they do, and they're still working. And how many can go without a paycheck? How many can go without 2 or 3 paychecks? Even if you say I'm good for a paycheck or two, you're probably not good much longer than that. I mean, we just don't. Americans have struggled with the high cost, inflation, and everything else. There's a lot of people don't have savings right now, or not very much savings, and hard choices would have to be made. These people deserve to be paid. I mean, they're doing a job, and our government needs to get it together and quit playing the political football with this. And I really don't care which side that you agree with; it just needs to stop. And I'm not saying give away the bank just to make a deal. What I'm saying is people need to realize, okay, you can't get what you want in this because you're hurting people, and that needs to stop. So whatever side's trying to protect or not get or whatever, they just need to sign the deal and get things flowing again and get these people money. I don't remember it going on this long before. Maybe it has. I don't remember. But there's I mean, people are suffering already. I mean, there's people trying to stay in their homes. Imagine that. You might be trying to pick your house payment or your rent, and what's going to happen to these folks. I mean, you're going to see people turned out in the street, people living in their cars more. And this is happening. I mean, the local schools, you'll have people go homeless for a month, and then they find a place to get back in it. They get a job, or they get back to work, or they got laid off, or their company went out of business, or there's a lot of things could happen. But that's not good at all. Um, Also in Georgia, an Atlanta legend, the Burt Show, is hanging it up. He's hung his headphones and turned off the mic. Burt Weiss concluded a 25-year run of the Burt Show. On Friday, marking the end of an era, Weiss, known for his humor and community contributions, signed off to focus on family and personal life. I applaud him for that. Final broadcast featured a surprise visit from Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, who honored Weiss, I guess it's Weiss, with a proclamation recognizing his impact on the city. So that's cool. I like that. I may not like a lot of things goes in Atlanta, but I have listened to Atlanta radio quite a bit over the years. The great 96 Rock and Z93. Those were great. No, Z93 had great shows. The Manly Man spots and Z Man and all that. Those are brought back great memories. So uh, listened to a lot of Atlanta radio over the years and went to a lot of own locations where they were the radio station that was sponsoring a concert or something, and always listen to interviews with all the artists as they come through. And they interviewed the band. They brought the lead singer at least, or guitar player or something. Some of those great ones. Most of them are gone now. Some of them are not even alive. There's still a couple, three of those broadcasters around on smaller stations now because 96 Rock is gone. That's a travesty. There are people keeping the memory alive. You can get your 96 Rock tag. I've seen them around. I know where to buy them, and that's cool. It's nice to see the 96 Rock tag still out there floating around. If you're not from the area and you don't remember, it was a fun station. Both those stations were. And I think, if I remember right, WKRP in Cincinnati was the guy worked at, I think, the Z93. I think that was kind of his, that's kind of where he got the idea for it. Loosely, maybe a lot based on, or loosely based on his experiences in an Atlanta radio station. And you got WKRP, the show in Cincinnati. And so, mythical radio station that they showed the exploits. Imagine, I don't doubt it. I mean, they probably didn't have to work too hard to come up with stories because I'm sure he gave them a lot of things that went on at the radio ranch. I used to love to listen to both stations, but 96 Rock. I used to love to be heading into Atlanta to go down to, I was going to concerts or going to explore the local music scene in Atlanta has always been fantastic. And I've been able to see a lot of great bands along the way. And going into Atlanta on a Friday when you're off that weekend, and that 5 o'clock kickoff back in the day on 96 Rock was great. You knew you had officially made it to the weekend, and they had, 2 or 3 songs they played right there together. And usually I would be hitting the city right about the time that was going on, driving along at a cool 85, 90 miles an hour, because that's what everybody drove. Coming in around Atlanta and getting down into the bowels of it and going to some record stores and collectible record places, and then the music scene, going to sports restaurants and stuff where, Buford Highway, Chicago Sports and Pizzeria. I used to love to go there. Jocks and Jills, and just different places around Atlanta. Brings back a lot of memories for me. I used to be that's why I learned Atlanta, was going down and just spending time trying to get lost and finding my way, getting turned around, figuring it out. I learned the ins and outs of driving in Atlanta just from going and exploring. But found this. I remember I was in this little record store, and I was looking for albums. I mean, that's what they dealt with, as collectible albums. And I heard the door open up, and I heard the voice behind me. I knew who it was immediately. And this guy had been here many times before because he had some albums stashed for him that he wanted to get. And by the time I left, this guy had bought. I mean, he had in his possession a lot of albums packed up. But it was the lead singer of the B-52s, who obviously got their start in Athens on that college scene, and the Love Shack and Rome, or whatever it was named. Was that the song Rome? And other songs like it, but I can't think of his name. But that voice is unmistakable, and I heard that coming in the door, and I was like, I thought, I know who that is, and turned around to verify, and I didn't bother him or nothing like that. I don't like doing that kind of stuff. Uh, but anyway, he was in there shopping and getting him some albums too. I used to love to do that, and there used to be some really good options. I'd go down to Tower Records and shop there. There's one thing about it, and I've always told people this. All my friends who made copies of music for other people, and there was a guy. He said, I hear you, and I've changed, because he would never buy stuff. He was always getting it from somebody. And I said, if you don't support the artist at least some, they'll. I mean, you're stealing from them. I mean, that they're selling this. That's how they make their money. And I said, they'll cease to be. I mean, they won't. Their contracts are driven by record sales and being successful. And he thought about it. He come back. He said, you're absolutely right. He said, I think it's okay to make some copies and give them away. But I know people that did that and sold it, and that's stealing. I mean, that's making money off their craft. And, anyway, if you was an artist, you wouldn't want that happening either. The rip-offs. And by the way, content creators get ripped off too. people mirror site their stuff and try to steal their stuff. Not try, they do it. And there's sometimes not a lot of action can be taken. And it's everything from ministry shows to whatever. People are just evil. Some humans are evil, and they will steal you blind. And so anyway, I always tried to support. Made me feel good if I was supporting my group. I mean, usually I was trying to buy on the day the CD, album, cassette, whatever came out. Nowadays, you got all the digital downloads. I was running around with Paul today. We are cutting videos, and he was, of course, it's Spotify and for him, and he was. He's a big fan of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and he did a playlist based off of the likes for them, and they had some good selections. We were listening to that as we rode around, getting to different sites to do videos for the podcast and for the Ascending group, and having fun. Kathy Mattea, it's the one I hadn't heard in a long time. One of her songs, if you know who I'm talking about, but it's changed a lot. And I'm not a person that gets locked into something. I change with the times. I don't want to be that person who just says I can't deal with this. I change. I hope not something that's going to change my values, but I mean I change technology, the way we do things. It all changes, and I don't want to be left behind. So I learn to adapt with it. I may not be on the cutting edge of it, but I'm on the ride. So I learn how to use it mostly. And if I can't figure it out, I got grandkids. That's what it's there for. And they're sharp as whip. And I'll say, hey, how you do this? Like Snapchat? Oh, we have one for the podcast, and I do put some stuff there. But to say that I'm a Snapchat expert, no. But you ask them young kids, and they'll be, oh, yeah, Papa, this is how you do this. Oh, you don't want to do that. They'll even warn you, That's good. It's like a built-in warning. Oh, don't do that. I mean, one of the best advices one of my grandchildren gave me says, Papa, don't friend nobody unless you know them. It's bad. I was like, okay, I'm glad you know that because I'm not out here just trying to friend the bad. But as long as you know that. So anyway, things they be a changing, right? Listen, I get it. I know there are people out there who go, young people should not have smartphones and all that stuff. Okay, that sounds good to stand on that platform and say it. It's not going to snap the fingers and change what's going on. Parents have got to be, obviously responsible and monitoring and managing what their kids are doing. But we don't want to sound like we're saying walk to school each way 10 miles and uphill in the snow. We have to learn how to manage that. And there's more systems in place today to look at, control, limit, how much screen time they have, the content, blocking things out. And go into it that way. At least you have, if they have it and you don't know they have it, then you don't know what they've got. But if you're monitoring it and there's accountability there, just like being able to monitor the car. How fast are they going? How hard are they braking? Is there anything, smoke in the car? Is there, whatever, GPSing, knowing where they're at. Are they getting off the beaten path, pick them up and say, hey, I noticed you're way outside of where we thought you were going. What's up? I think all those are good things. And it definitely helps. In the old days when you were looking for somebody, you don't know where they were at, they didn't pick up the phone. You know what we did? We went out in the car and went looking for them. Nowadays, you can almost not hide from people. I mean, there's just too much out there. It's a little harder to get off the grid these days. There's still people do it. Hey, all right, we better get off here. I got to work this afternoon. I'll be bouncing around the sites and posting things along the way this afternoon. I hope you have a beautiful and wonderful Saturday. Thanks for your support of the Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. Don't forget in the morning, 8 a.m., right around that time, I do have to help my wife get up, but it'll be right at 8. We'll have Sunday morning in the Word, and there'll be a news desk tomorrow. We'll get that. Probably be a pre-record, and maybe one more, I don't know. And then, enjoy your sports, your worship, just spending time with your family, relaxing, making a trip, whatever it is. Enjoy the freedoms we have. Enjoy the great weather we have and the blessing we have of health today, if you have that, and family, and spend time with them. And we'll see you when we see you. We'll see you soon for sure. And please support the other great podcasters that are out there, of which there are many. and we appreciate them. And shout out to all the co-hosts for the Southern Fried, Rob and Jeneth, Elizabeth, Dean, and Paul. Family of podcasting. I mean, we start out with two knuckleheads, and you end up being a whole family of podcasters that they love this thing just as much as we do, and they make it fun for us as well. We appreciate them coming on board and being a partner in what we do. But we'll see you. Take care. God bless. We'll salute you. We'll see you next time. Dave in the AM, aka the Cornbread Man.
It's a complicated life for the Southern people. Like a small town, nothing's real. Mama's still doing wrong. Don't tell the preacher. Nothing really changes except the weather. If you can't see